Hello everyone, welcome to Learn QA Automation. So this is going to be an interesting one. In the last session, what we did was we created one class which is WebDriver thread, and in this we are instantiating our driver object. If you can see here, this is just creating WebDriver, and we will be getting our driver object from this class, and on the basis of like which browser is defined in the property file will be returning that driver object accordingly. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to add some code in the previously created class, which is web base, because this is our central class which we are extending in the main test case class. So what I'll do is I'll start writing code and explain you as well. So first I'll create two variable, and the name will be static list WebDriver thread, and name it as thread pool, and this will be a synchronized list and of type new array list. Okay, so we are creating a list of WebDriver thread class, if you can see, and we are storing that list in object list in a thread pool. So and I'll create one more variable, and I'll name it as WebDriver static thread local, and it will also be of type WebDriver thread, and I'll name it as driver thread for now. Okay, so driver thread is now. So now what we will do, we have already before method in place, and before this I'll create one more method, and I'll use before suite or before suite annotation, and I'll name it this method. Give me a second. I'll type the code, and I'll explain you what I have written. So I'll name this method as instantiate object, or instantiate driver for short. Instantiate driver, and for this I need driver thread equals to new thread local, and this will be of type driver thread. I'll explain you, just give me a moment. Let me create this function real quickly. Protected WebDriver thread initial value would be and thread equals to new. I'll initialize WebDriver thread object in here, and we'll keep on adding the generated WebDriver object in the thread pool object, WebDriver thread, and at last we need to return WebDriver thread as well. Okay, and here this needs semicolon and override. I think if I have not missed anything, WebDriver thread initial value. Give me a second. Okay, so the name is like it should be capital here. That's why it's giving us error. Okay, so it is the I have written this method. So what this does is like previously what we did is like we in this WebDriver thread we are instantiating our driver objects, but now what we are doing is now we have just added some code here. What it will do is this will hold a reference to a WebDriver object, and ensure that every time we are going to call get driver, then it gives us a valid driver instance back. So we and moreover, if there is a no driver instance started, then it will return us a new driver instance. So what I'll do for like retrieving this, getting this driver object, we need to add one more more code. I'll define one more method. Uh, Second, it is public static WebDriver get driver. I'll name it as get driver. Okay, and I'll write in try block. What I need to do is we need to finally return a valid object, and how we can do is from driver dot get, or we named it as initialize driver, and in catch exception, it just needs an exception block, otherwise it no. Okay, um, WebDriver import class and import it. Okay, so what we are doing is now it will make sure that we are getting a valid driver object, because whenever we are going to call this get method from here, it will give us a valid instance of WebDriver back. If one instance has already been started up, it will give us the existing one. But if there is no WebDriver instance created yet, it will give it will create one instance, a new instance for us. So this is doing in this manner, like working in this manner. Yeah, because we can create multiple instances or multiple driver objects. For this, why we created a synchronized list, because whenever we try to create multiple objects or create multiple driver objects, then they do not interfere with each other. So hence we have created this like this manner. So for this we have created for creating as well. So what I'll do is we need something to kill these driver instances as well. So I'll write one after shoot method as well, and in this I'll call this public static void close drivers, or I'll call this close drivers, whatever drivers, because we have a pool of drivers. So we need to close all the driver objects. We don't know that how many driver objects are there, so we'll create a object of WebDriver thread, of the type class, and we'll name is this, and we are storing our all the drivers in thread pool. So what I'll do here is in this we can do WebDriver thread dot quit WebDriver thread dot quit driver. Okay, so for this we need to create this function for quitting this driver. We have to create this function. For now I'll not create so many function in a one go, so I'll comment it for now, and moving forward I'll add this also in the maybe next lecture. Just because in this I just want to make sure that you understand this concept first, what I'm trying to achieve here. So in this what we did was we created this class, and we created one uh, a list of type WebDriver thread, because this is something which is responsible for instantiating the WebDriver object. So this is only the sole purpose of this, and why we have created this of type synchronized, because we don't want that whenever we are calling our drivers or driver object, they should not mess with each other. So this is it for this one. What I'll do is, because we need to use this, like how to initialize this, and I'll go to my test case, and in the test case we already have this thing set up. We are just doing setting this up. What I'll do, I'll comment these two lines, and we are, if you know, we are already extending from the web based class. So what I'll do is WebDriver driver equals to new. Instead of this, I'll call web base with directly, because we are extending dot get driver object. So I'll explain you from here the how this is going to work. So because we have written so much code, and some of the code is complex or to understand or make you understand, but if I'll go from here, I'll make you understand from get driver. If we go from get driver, what it will do, it will initialize the driver object. And how it will get initialize driver object, this is the function which we define. This will initialize the driver object. And what this driver object what will do, it will give us a fresh instance if there is none created earlier. If there is already existing driver object, then it will give us the already created one. And it will depend on the type which we have defined here. So what I'll do is I'll real quick try to run this to make sure if this is working. Now you can see that we are just not defined anything, and every properties are it's picking up from the other files. So I've just run the script. So it is running. Anyways, if you are not getting this like concept in this lecture, then definitely in the next one I'll again revisit this and try to explain in a better way. Or maybe if you can go and search for these, like how collections work and why we have created a thread pool, then that would be easier for you. Otherwise, this is a one-time work which you have to do for like executing your test cases or getting a valid driver object every time. So it has, because we have chosen Firefox, so it will launch Firefox. I think yes, we have. I made changes in the properties file, uh, so it is launching the Firefox. So it has launched the browser, and it searched for milk item, and then it will click on images section. Okay, so it is working as expected. Okay, test passed. So why this Firefox? Because I made changes here in the browser section. I kept, like I mentioned, Firefox. So this is it for this. We have a separate utility for driver. This is something you need to declare only once. You need not to go again and again there. Just make sure that you need to change, or you can add more functionality in this class itself, and it will work seamlessly. Okay, so that's it for this lecture. Thank you.